$40 million to University of Arizona's Medical Center South, I guess it's the Center South campus, Kino, I guess we used to call it, and you've approved a 2-year agreement, and that agreement is, I believe, for about $1.2 million a month, plus $5 million a year for new programs. Why is that good for taxpayers?
Well, what happens is that the $40 million that was represented, it's really only $15 million a year, and that $5 million is really our option. And then that option will only be exercised if we see a real return on investment, meaning that we're going to get more money back if they do these programs. The main reason it's good for taxpayers is because under the current federal law on health care, which hasn't been changed, it really is the same, is the county is able to provide our $15 million to the Board of Regents. The Board of Regents then is able to take that and provide it to the federal health program and generate what we call graduate medical education reimbursement dollars. And the federal level, those dollars come back 3 to 1 as opposed to the 15. And so they're using our public funding because that's the way the law is written. You have to use public funding to match what we call graduate medical education programs. That goes to the federal government, and that 15 comes back to this community as $45 million. So we're really investing in ourselves. At the same time, we're getting trained physicians.
By the way, speaking of education, the cost of animal care here in Pima County is very, very high. The draft budget, I think, fully funds about $17 million, including the animal care subsidy. I think the questions have come up over and over again about why not use some of the money for education for spays and neuter programs, which if you don't spay or neuter these animals, you just exacerbate the problem, and the bill goes up higher and higher and higher. And my second question is, why don't these people like South Tucson, the city of Tucson, not pay you the money they owe you? I mean, for animal care, they just ignore the bill, don't they?
Well, let me give 2 parts.
All right, take either one. Yeah.
Yeah, the first part is animal care, and we raised the licensing fees a couple of years ago. And what we did in the county, and it was every jurisdiction's option, is we earmarked our increase in fees to spay neuter. So we actually give the spay-neuter program about $400,000 a year, which is, as you say, money well spent because it's preventive. We asked the other jurisdictions to do the same, and they said no. They were going to keep the money to basically keep in their general fund. So, they need to probably rethink that because I think it's much better to invest in the spay-neuter program than have to pay a very high sheltering fee is what's occurring. So I think, and we've actually told the board this year, we really need to take a very hard look at animal care and health budgets and see exactly where those dollars are going, if there's things we can do better. So we're going to be doing that anyway.
What about these these jurisdictions that just don't pay you? Doesn't South Tucson owe you a chunk of money they just ignore?
Well, South Tucson does owe us money on what we call prisoner per diem housing, which means that all the jurisdictions, if they arrest someone on a local misdemeanor, they take them to our county jail, and because it's a local misdemeanor, we're able to get reimbursed for the cost. And South Tucson, because of the hard financial times that everybody's gone through, and they probably went through it even worse, hadn't been paying their jail fees to the county for probably about
long time.
12 to 18 months. Now the good news is they've just started paying.
All right.
They're going to pay this year what they owe us, and then start working down the debt. So, it's on the one hand you can say people can complain they haven't paid. On the other hand, they went through probably more fiscal stress than other jurisdictions just because of the demands on them and their tax base. But they are paying now, so that's the good news.
By the way, the supervisors have authorized $10 million for road repairs for the current fiscal year, and for next year, that's reflected, I guess, in the draft budget. You were taking pockets of money from here and there and someplace else to try to fix up these roads. How much have you been able to generate from money found in a drawer here and a fund there and under the mattress here that will actually go to road maintenance in Pima County?
Well, this year, the calendar year we're in, we're actually spending $10 million. In the calendar year that begins July 1, we're going to spend at least another $10 million. And, you put those two together, that's 20. We also have increased our general fund contributions, so we're hoping to leverage some of that money. if we just leveraged it with short 5-year borrowing, which is very short term, we can generate about another $23 million in road repairs for the unincorporated area. We intend to do that because we've neglected our roads for so long. I think the legislature is finally getting the message because this year they returned the motor vehicle division diversion they had made the previous year. So we're hopeful they will continue to return the monies that were diverted from the HERF perhaps next year as their budget increases. And that allow us to basically finally begin to catch up on road maintenance because we've not done enough.
Well, they stole your money, and now they're just not going to steal anymore, I guess. Pretty much.
And you know what? It's very odd when you thank someone for not stealing your money.
There you go. Thank you for not stealing our money. By the way, these sewer hookup fees, I think, were just at a point of being absurd. Builders have welcomed this change, I believe. The new system calculates the connection cost on the size of the potable water meters feeding into the building. And for a new home construction, that could, I think, mean a decrease in sewer connection fees as much as 35%. I think the cost of a single-family home under the new structure is about $4,000. It's down from about $6,300. So you finally got that into. That was an outrageous amount of money, by the way.
Well, we kept looking at it and basically found that there was some issues that we needed to address, and we just went and addressed them because we'd much rather have that money spent in construction than paid in fees because it's this economic stimulus theory that says that, in fact, we're even talking about going back and giving builders who paid that fee up until January 1st a credit so that they will get a credit on the next series of permits they get as a stimulus to get them to jumpstart this economy.
Here we have an election year. Seems like it's been a while since we've had a Board of Supervisors, all 5 up for elections. All, I think, in Pima County know that you enjoy the support of the 3 Democrats, and Republicans now have put opponents out for all 3 of those. Do you worry about elections year saying, boy, if those Republicans take over, I'll be out of a job? And by the way, how long do you want this job?
Yeah, I don't.
There's a couple of questions for you.
Yeah. I don't worry about it at all because basically,
no sleep lost.
I wish them all well. I just
no, you don't.
I hope that everybody discusses the issues factually and accurately and doesn't jump to conclusions that we tend to do in our polarization of politics. And it's just terrible. It's a disservice to the public.
Well, and you don't worry about, gee, if the Republicans take over. But by the way, how long have you had this job? I forgot.
Well, I am now working on my 20th year as county administrator, so I probably held it long enough.
Wow. Does that mean that you might want to leave soon, or?
Oh, well, not. You know, I'll work for the county as long as there's a board who wants me to be here. If the moment they don't, that's fine too.
Well, you know, there's no question. You've built such a powerful administration that obviously, you know, you control Pima County, but most of it, I think, compared to the city, this is one of the best-run governments in America. But that's comparing it to the city. So, all right, what will I read in tomorrow's paper we didn't talk about? Come on, what is it?
Not a thing.
Come on now.
It's been very quiet.
No,
great. I like that.
There'll be some headline tomorrow, and then it'll say, well, you know, John didn't mention that.
No, John, we've been staying pretty under the radar because it's too hot to do otherwise.
At least inside. Stay inside. All right. Chuck, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, John, for having me. Appreciate it.
Chuck Huckelberry, Pima County's chief administrator, certainly the most powerful bureaucrat ever in Pima County. 20 years at the helm of Pima County government with an iron fist. An iron fist. That's either because the majority of the board is too lazy to try to administer Pima County, or Chuck has a masterful way of running it around them. It's one or the other. You'll meet 2 very prominent business people next. They form the Southern Arizona Business Coalition.